Good afternoon. It's about 3:25 on Monday afternoon, August the 11th, here in Austin, Texas. This afternoon I will be exploring the concept of Maya and Brahman in Indian philosophy. You may already know both of these terms. If not, you will be entering into my videos. This should be around my 13th or 14th video as a novice. If you're an old hand, so to speak, at yoga, if you've studied yoga philosophy on your own or taken courses, or by any means you have learned these phrases already and are very familiar with them and the philosophy behind them, then you're also more than welcome. First, I'll discuss the term Maya, then go into Brahman, and then I'll talk about Maya versus Brahman, the differences between them, and so forth. But let's start simply by describing Maya as the illusion or the appearance of the world. In its appearance, the illusion of Maya, in its appearance, suggests that we perceive the world through our receptive senses. But because Maya is an illusionary lens through which we see the world, this is philosophy now. It's not going to be easy to deal with, but that's what it is. And I will go into greater detail as this talk progresses. So don't give up yet. I'm just laying the foundation here, the groundwork. So because we see the world through the illusion, the elusive lens of what's called Maya, the Maya effect, then we're not really seeing the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is we are humans on a planet made of water and earth and things in between, mud and whatever, plus the elements that have evolved on this earth: animals, fish, birds, humans, clouds, volcanoes, all the components that make up Mother Earth, nature, Mother Earth. And that planet rotates and gives the illusion that the sun moves across the arc of our sky. It also simultaneously is moving around that sun that I just spoke of, which is the way we pass the years. Each full rotation around the sun back to the starting point, so to speak, is what we call a solar year. And then not only is the moon moving around the earth moving around the sun, but the planets, the outer planets from the earth, moving out towards the edge of our solar system, are moving around that central mass of fire we know as the sun. And that solar system is also moving in a not necessarily a perfect circle, but in its own way within our galaxy, and that galaxy is moving amongst other galaxies, and all of this, and then just keep going out and out and out. And when you look at it from a God's eye view, what is happening is all this activity encompassed within the vision of the Creator. That's what's really happening at this exact moment in time. So when I say we see what we think of as reality through our earthly eyes, and the data brought to us is by our senses of touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing, etc., interpreted by the brain, passed on up to the mind. The mind passes, the intellect above the mind absorbs the pertinent data and makes sense of it and makes decisions on it. And that intellect is overseen by what's called the Atman, the soul, which is on loan from the Creator, is neither born nor does it die, and the Creator is neither born nor does he die, or she or it dies. That is the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is called Brahman. the soul in the human body, encapsulated in the human body, is called Atman. That lens of distorted, illusionary happenings that we think we're actually seeing happen, and we live in that pseudo-dream of reality, is produced by an effect called Maya, and that's the beginning of this discourse. If you're confused, welcome to the club. A lot of folks are. This is why I'm here, to try to break down, piece by piece, all the philosophical concepts that separate mankind from the understanding of his creator. The creator is Brahman. We're here not just to conduct ourselves through lives, making mistakes and errors and triumphs and defeats and ups and downs. We're here to learn about ourselves. Self-realization is the ultimate goal of each human being, or should be, according to yoga philosophy. So now I've introduced you to Maya, I've introduced you to Brahman, I've introduced you to the illusionary powers of Maya, and now I'm going to give you sort of a real-world example. Maya is sort of like a magic show where tricks seem to be real, but when you investigate behind the scenes, behind the curtain, behind the veil, you realize they were just all illusions. So Maya is sort of like a magic show where tricks seem to be real, but in fact they're only illusions. Now Brahman, in total contrast, totally opposite on the scale of reality, is the ultimate reality, also known as the absolute truth. He is the essence that pervades everything in the universe. And when I say essence, I mean he's the power that not only created the universe and the cosmos, he is the power in yogic terms. Power is called Sakshi. Shakti. He is the power. And you go, well, no, he's lost me again. Well, let me create an analogy that might help you catch up with me. We know that electricity exists. Ben Franklin pretty much brought that to light, so to speak, no pun intended. So we know it's there. We know electricity is there. And we know it's various forms. There's static electricity, there's magnetism, which we haven't proven yet, but could turn out to be a form of electricity. We know all of these things, but we also know that every appliance in your home and my home, that ceiling fan up there, this computer behind me on my desk, even this phone that I'm using to film this video, has a battery in it that was charged through the usage of electricity. So electricity powers various devices, and they're all operating simply because of the underlying power source, which is electricity. Well, everything in the universe that is in motion or living or growing or any form of non-static existence is powered because of the divine power of the Creator, Brahman. So we've gone from how we see the universe to now we see the power that operates behind the scenes in the universe. We saw the power that operated behind the scenes that gives us a distortion of reality, which is Maya. Now we're seeing the power that operates below the level of the operating machinery of the universe, which is growing, living, breathing, anything that has physical activity. and that power comes from the Creator. Okay? Excuse me one moment. I'm sorry about that. My parrot, my friend and my pet of all these years, is acting up in the background. If I'm having a Zoom call with the VA clinic here in town, or if I have someone on the phone just visiting with me in a casual way, he's always, his nature is to jump into the game, to become part of the conversation. And I don't know if that's jealousy, I don't know if he's just bored, but regardless, it's occurring. And occasionally when I do these videos, you will hear him in the background, either making noise or trying to speak up in the background. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, Brahman is the ultimate reality, the absolute truth, the essence that pervades everything in the universe. And I equated it with electricity powering all the devices that is used by modern man and even ancient man. So now I'm going to give you another example, another analogy that might help you understand even further. Another real world example, so to speak, would be a virtual reality game that feels real, but again, it's just illusionary. You take this device, you put it on your head, it covers your eyes and all of that. So you know when you're actively involved with the virtual reality game and the headset, you know in your mind and in your heart that what you're seeing is just a game. It's not reality. But it's not until that game ends or until you disconnect from that headpiece that reality comes back into focus for you. So you're lost in that dream while you're experiencing that virtual reality. Well, again, Maya is sort of like virtual reality. We're seeing the world through the lens of Maya, but when we come to self-realization, which is, as I said earlier, one of the last goals of being a human is to understand yourself fully as much as possible. And that is self-realization, which is the ultimate goal, one of the ultimate goals in yoga, the practice of yoga philosophy, the practice of yoga as an intellectual pursuit. Now I'm going to move out of that, and I'm going to move towards how this is all relevant to everyday life, because we've been talking theories, we've been talking allegorically, we've been talking fundamental elements of how I am developing out this video for your comprehension, retention, and absorption, hopefully absorption. You absorb it in, you gain the knowledge, and you put it to work for you to help increase the quality of your life and to reach your ultimate goal, which is self-realization. Dr. Carl Jung called it individuation, but that's another subject. So I'm trying to help you to learn to shift your focus from material pursuits to a more meaningful aspects of living your life on this planet. And you go, well, that was quite a shift. Well, again, I was trying to teach you the relevance of everyday life and how it's to be approached. So maybe I skip forward a little bit, so I'll back it up. Understanding Maya and Brahma, the two things that are the subject of this whole video. If you come to a deeper and fuller and clearer understanding of Maya and Brahman, those two portions of yoga philosophy, those two principles, should have said principles, of yoga philosophy can change how you view your very life. So I'm encouraging you to look beyond the surface of what you think is really happening here and to seek the deeper truths that I'm presenting to you, perhaps for the first time, in this exact video that I'm recording today on Monday, the 11th of August. So I'll sort of simplify all these concepts by adding a couple of more real-world examples. which will show that Maya and Brahma have practical implications, which will lead to a more fulfilling life, hopefully, for all of us. I know they have for me. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go with, there's the bird in the background. I hope you don't mind him. You will get used to him, and I'm sorry. He's almost 19 years old, and he has a very strong mind and a very strong opinion of when he thinks he should be heard. So if you listen to me, sometimes you're going to have to listen to him as background noise, so to speak. He's not noise, but you know what I'm saying. So Maya, as I said, is the illusionary appearance of the world, representing a transient and ever-changing aspect of reality. Transient. In yoga philosophy, anything that's transient cannot be considered real. And you go, well, that chair is real. That painting that he's trying to point to back there it is, on that easel is real. Well, is it real? And now I'm going to help you understand how my viewpoint of reality as an old yogi might not be in conflict with your understanding of reality as a younger person, or even an old person, a retiree like myself in their mid-70s. And the reason I'm using my yogic teachings to point this out to you is simply this. I said a chair. I have a chair sitting across from me. Well, that chair may be 200 or 300 years old. I have quite a few antiques in my home. Actually, that chair is from the time of, you can't see it, but it's from the time of the Pilgrims. That chair is circa the 1600s. Don't know the exact date, but who would, unless you can follow it back through the provenance to the exact date of its creation. The reason yogis and people that teach yoga philosophy and the philosophy itself of yoga makes this division between transient and intransient is simply this. Anything that comes and goes from the God's eye view of the universe is not real. It's just an appearance. It comes, it goes. But things that stay through eternity, from the highest yoga perception, those are real. Brahman is neither born nor does he die. Therefore, he is real, the ultimate reality I've already spoken of in this paper, in this discourse. Your soul is real. It's neither born nor dies. That quote is from the Gita, from the Bhagavad Gita, one of the oldest books of yoga philosophy. Can't tell you chapter and verse, but it's there. Your body, according to yoga philosophy, is not even real. It's a transient thing. It came into being during the course of this world's existence, and it will leave after a short while, generally less than 125 years. Look at it this way. You live in a town, you've been there, say, for 20 years, you know of a main street that's in your town. One day somebody buys a blank lot that's been there forever, it seems, and they build a shopping center on it. You go, you shop there, you go to the barber shop, you go to the grocery store, maybe a filling station on the corner, a gas station on the corner, you fill up your gas. And then 10 years from then, the old owner of that shopping center dies, and his son or his wife or his family sells it off, and somebody comes along and says, boy, this is prime real estate. This shouldn't be a shopping center. So they just tear it all down, flatten it, and they build luxury condominiums because it's up on a hill and has a view of, say, Westlake Hills, which is a point in West Austin that does have a view of Westlake Hills and the sunset and so forth. Well, was that shopping center real? Well, yes, but only in a transient sense. It's not eternal. It came and it went. And this is what I'm saying about things being real in the eyes of God, the Creator, and things being just appearances that come and go. Sort of like in a magic show. It's just an illusion. It's a trick. It's something there to be entered as scenery on the stage of the play of God. Eternity, the actions on the stage that the Creator conceived, is where the action of the play of God is performed. That's the cosmic view of reality. So let's go back now. Maya is the illusionary appearance that represents the transient and ever-changing aspects of reality. Now I think you understand the second part of that definition a little better. It represents the transient and ever-changing aspects of reality. My body comes, my body goes. Your body comes, your body goes. That's the transient and ever-changing aspect. The shopping center came, the shopping center went. Came, went, comes, goes. Transient, ever-changing aspects of reality. Now, Brahman and your soul, the Atman, that's the ultimate reality, the unchanging, the infinite, the eternal. It's the eternal essence that provides everything. It also provides what's called Shakti, the energy, the driving force, the growing force, the sustaining force. Electricity makes our appliances move and operate. The Shakti of God, the power of Brahma-Shakti, so to speak, powers the universe. The moon does not circle a planet. The planets do not circle the sun. The galaxies do not swirl and do the celestial dance amongst themselves without the power of God being the quote-unquote electricity that moves them all. The eternal essence, it's called. Okay. So let's move a little bit further here. I'm going to try to keep this around 25 minutes as an introductory video. There will be more of these on this subject. So you have Maya's influence on daily decision making. Maya shapes our perception of reality, creates desires and attachment, generates fears and anxiety, influences decisions through social condition, and gives the illusion of control. Well, we're mere men. We have will, but our will can also lead us astray. So how do we overcome this Mayan influence, which can lead us down the garden path, down the wrong way of living? It's called Dharma. Dharma is the righteous path, the right path. So if we recognize the illusions of the material world, don't fall in love with money or a new car or the smell of the leather in the parking lot of the new car. That's temporary. Just like another trick. What you are seeking is a deeper understanding of reality through an attentive inquiry, contemplated stillness, which yoga is not a religion, it's a science, but even in science there are practices, and spiritual practices don't necessarily have to do with religion. Sometimes a spirit is just something that is beyond the physical. The spirit, God is not physical, he is spiritual. Your soul is not physical, it is spiritual. So spiritual practices, the rules and regulations and the techniques used in following out the guidelines of the proper usage of spiritual practices, such as mindfulness, detachment from material desires, seeking wisdom. I'm an old, wise man. It took me 50 years to get here, but I woke up one morning and said, gosh, I'm smarter than the average bear. That's an old yogi Yogi Bear and Boo Boo cartoon from the 50s, 60s. I don't know when it was around, but I liked it as a child. So we're seeking wisdom through these videos. And we're trying also, more importantly than just knowing wisdom and learning it, we're also seeking and cultivating our compassion for our fellow man. So I'm going to end this here with simple words. And I'll come back and continue on the subject if you don't mind. And here are my simple words of closing. This is customary for me now. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. And pass that idea along to friends, family, and even strangers. And the reason I keep saying this is because I'm looking for a goal. If this is done, we might reach a goal of someday, who knows, 10 years from now, or less or more. We may wake up one day and say, oh, what a wonderful world we're living in now, that we've learned wisdom and compassion for each other. Thank you so much, and goodbye to you. Hope to see you again.